He called himself a hillbilly, wrote an elegy. His problem and his trouble is he went back and he doubled down on the fascism and the lies, and then he made a fatal crime. Couch fucker, what's your deal? J.D. Vance is cut by Peter Attil. Couch fucker, why must he lie? We must stop Project 2025. But in 2005 he wrote back then only one time. I felt femininely when I saw that movie about New Jersey. I don't know what's wrong with me, but must deny. And that's when J.D. Vance said he wants trans people to go die. Couch fucker, what's your deal? J.D. Vance is cut by Peter Attil. Couch fucker, why must he lie? We must stop Project 2025. At the RNC, he felt maybe I'll be free if I take up on this task, being MAGA starting grass to take over the country. I think J.D. Vance needs a swirly. Couch fucker, what's your deal? J.D. Vance is cut by Peter Attil. Couch fucker, why must he lie? We must stop Project 2025. Couch fucker, what's your deal? J.D. Vance is cut by Peter Attil. Couch fucker, why must he lie? We must stop Project 2025.
pretend it's in his head, it's in his head. He wishes he could fix what's in his head, what's in his head. He breaks his heart in every dream where they both kiss underneath the sheets. What a beautiful dream. what's in his head. He breaks his heart in every dream where they both kiss underneath the sheets. But what a beautiful dream.
I'd give up.
Need our civil rights while we work hard and die. When the guy, they defend the genocide. They have said they cleanse their soul by making sure your tale is never told. No matter how hard they try, through guns or laws or religious rhymes, they can take your arms, they can take your eyes, but when we sing your name, you can never die. You are true, they can't deny. The land is sweet revenge, we strike great fear into the hearts of men. A voice of nature can't be tamed, and that's why you're a big disaster as a dance. 'Cause all they want for you to end, through the fire of their hate, you won't subside. You will rise. They thought they could make you hide, disappear right before their eyes, and no ban sesame. Here come the 40 thieves, riding into battle, wrath and power. This is stopping me. No matter how hard they try, through guns or laws or religious rise, they can take your arms, they can take your eyes, but when we sing your name, you can never die. You are true, they can't deny. The land is sweet revenge, we strike great fear in the hearts of men. A voice of nature can't be tamed, and that's why you're a big. The test is rise again, 'cause all they want is for you to end. Through the fire of their hate, you won't subside. You are true, they win, they can't deny. The land is sweet revenge, we strike great fear in the hearts of men. A voice of nature can't be tamed, and that's why you're a big. The test is rise again, 'cause all they want is for you to end. Through the fire of their hate, you won't subside. You will rise.
One of the most egregious
Hello, everybody. How we doing? How we doing? I have to level with you guys. I am very stressed and cranky today. I'm having a hard one. My brain isn't braining right for like a good vibes stream, which is what I want for a People's Court stream. So we will do that, just not tonight. Instead, my brain is itching. It's cruising for a bruising. You know what I'm saying? You may take it out on me. only if you pay well. Hello everybody. Oh, the brain rot is revved up. It is ready to go. Yeah, it is next level brain rot. I've dug deep, folks. I have dug deep. All right? Now, I just want you to have
Hey guys, I'm Redeemed Zoomer and
oh my god. I want you guys to have somewhat of an idea of what we have on the docket tonight, okay? Now, in the past, we've lightly touched on a few of these creators, but we haven't really dug into them, you know? We haven't really looked at what is beneath the veneer of, you know, shit, as it were. And well, I figure it's a great time. It's a great time to do that today, huh? So let's take a look here. What do we got? We have Redeemed Zoomer, an aggressively Christian fundamentalist who recently, as of like 10 days ago, made a video about his plan to unite all Christian denominations together. And frankly, I, for one, would love to hear his plan. Okay?
One of the most...
Oh god, that's one thing, alright? And of course, on the same note, every time we take a look at Redeemed Zoomer, we also have to take a look at Zoomer Historian. Completely unrelated channel except by the word Zoomer. Because Zoomer Historian is just an outright Nazi who makes World War II history videos. Just loves World War II, and specifically Hitler and the SS. Wouldn't you know it? It's crazy. So we have a video from him about the Nazi blue eyes and blonde hair myth. So we could take a look at that one too. We got some Matt Walsh. He's ranking his top 5 overrated films. And you know, I'm frankly curious. We also have Matt Walsh going to bat for Donald Trump and the disastrous failed photo op at Arlington Cemetery. Nothing good can come from this. No, it's all the worst brain rot. And you know what I said to myself while I was looking at all this brain rot? What's one Ben Shapiro doing? And wouldn't you know it, guys? He interviewed John Voight just a little bit ago, and no one's talking about it. So we're gonna look at his John Voight interview, and we're also gonna take a look at what did Ben Shapiro think of Kamala Harris's interview, because he released a video about it that's called that under the Ben After Dark label. And the video's just titled "That Interview Killed the Vibe." And I can't imagine someone less positioned to talk about vibe killing than Ben, you know, than Ben
Wet ass P word. P word is female genitalia.
Shapiro. You know, and then I was like, well, what's PragerU up to? But first, actually, I was like, what's Steven Crowder up to? And it turns out, not a whole lot. There's weird amount of silence from his channels. Yeah, Ben is the vibe killer as opposed to the mind killer. And then of course we went and looked at what's going on over on PragerU, and here are a few of the top ones, okay, that we're definitely going to talk about. Why social emotional learning is bad for children's mental health. You know, because talking about your feelings and understanding social dynamics is apparently unhealthy for children. So we'll talk about that because I have thoughts. Then we have one of the weirder ones. We might actually open with this one just because the vibes are so rancid. I'm gonna leave that as a surprise for you guys.
I've never...
Oh god. And of course we have Tulsi Gabbard's unironic Why I Left the Left video. She did one for PragerU called Tulsi Gabbard on disappointing the left. And obviously we have to cover the 6-minute long PragerU trans kids, the medical scandal. We have to talk about that. Handle. And I have to know, how does PragerU think we should deal with transgenderism in schools? Because they have a video about that, and I can't imagine it's anything good. So we have a lot to go through today. But first, hello everybody! How are you doing? I see a paladin lost in here.
Do you want to tank? Do you want to fight? Do you want a class that'll instill fright, take up some plate, and keep the goblins in sight? Because you want to make sure they eat this paladin smite! Fuck you, gods. If you want me to play your game of ethics, you can kiss my shiny plate mail. Alright, fine. Wait a minute, what the hell is that noise?
Hello, Salmon Moose!
How can we all have died at the same time?
Hello, Robber Adset. Hello, Archangel Dakab. Hello, Dragonfly. Hello, Cannabo Rebrex. Hello, Foxbat. Hello, Chaotic Kitten. Hello, Super Jet Guy. Hello, Zero. Hello, Rhombus. Hello, John Bainbridge. Hello, Jessica Hunt. What's the name of the video? We'll find out because I don't remember which question that was related to. Hello, Zero. I said hello to you already. Hello, Kev from Mars. Hello, Odd Spectre. Hello, Dark Knight. Hello, Draconics. Hello, Echo Baz. Hello, Red Onion 777. Hello, German Cow JJ. Hello, Imperial Gamer VDM. Hello, VCCTV. I see you lurking in the background. Hello, the actual Karl Marx. And let me tell you, I did not feel very stylish today, so thank you very much. And hello, ACAP includes Tone Police. Hello, one and all. Hello, Banana Brains. Hello, Gwenifer. Hello, Miro No. Hello, Erica. Hello, Valerian Damocles Marcellus. Hello, Default Text. Hello, Olive Ryder. Hello, Trains and Bullshit. Hello, Gamerg. Hello, Mr. Miyagi. Hello, Blueberry Bumblebee. I think everyone likes being greeted and acknowledged, and I try and extend that to all of you. Hello, PC Schwarz. Hello, Little Morphine Annie. I look good now. I got home like an hour and a half ago, and then I had to shower and do makeup and figure out this outfit, and this outfit was really just randomly generated from my wardrobe. Hello, Punky Gal. Hello, Salmon Moose. Remember when Contra had to stop reading names? Yeah. Now, folks, if you do think I look amazing, or if you think I look like dog shit, go hit the like button on the stream. Hit the follow button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the buttons. We need to hit the buttons. Also, go leave a like and a comment on that John Doyle video that I posted yesterday, because it's kind of popping off, and it'd be nice to see that go through the algorithm a bit more. I'm pretty sure it's also the video where I went on a long rant about Elden Ring lore instead of talking about the John Doyle video. And I don't know why that video got picked up by the algorithm, but it did. And it now has 11,000 views, which is pretty good for my channel. AI generated outfit, not an AI generated outfit, it's just randomly generated because I grabbed random cool things from my closet. Don't listen to her lies, Jack looked beautiful all day. Clarice. That's the love of my life right there. Whew. You swept past 6K? What? Oh, shit. We did. Damn. All right. I'll be damned. Chat, we are officially 6,000 strong over here on the YouTube. Rapidly catching up to the Twitch folks. And, you know, I'm thinking this switching over to YouTube thing was a good idea. All right. Yeah, one video pops off and suddenly you have another 200 subscribers. What's Pog? It just means, like, neat. Neat. Oh, also, guys, I have to tell you, you should go see Alien Romulus, okay? It's very, very good. I saw it last night. It fucks. Like, it just straight up fucks, okay? If you're a fan of the Alien movies, if you're a fan of the franchise, I would say it's probably the second best. If we're talking pure horror movies, you know, like, Aliens is a fantastic movie, but it's kind of in its own category because it's not really a horror movie. It's more of like an action sci-fi movie. But I would say that this is easily the second best Alien movie, and that's only because the first Alien movie is like one of the perfect movies of all time, you know? I've only seen Alien 1. You genuinely do not need to know anything outside of what happened in the first Alien movie to understand Alien Romulus. Prometheus is fun. There's just one part of that movie that pisses me the fuck off, and that's what that lady just doesn't... She keeps running in a straight line. Serpentine! Serpentine! The first Alien has to get bonus points for how much it pioneered. Yeah, and it's just so good. It's just so fucking good. But then, we kind of got away from that, and honestly, I'm not someone who dislikes the third Alien movie. I think it's pretty solid. But it's, like, man, nothing has really recaptured the magic of that first movie until we get to Alien Romulus, man. It's so good. Production on 3 doomed it from the start. I know nothing about the behind the scenes of Alien 3. I want to play Alien Isolation with Clarice here, because one, I think I'll be less scared, and two, she fucking loves the Alien movies, and I think that'd be fun to play with her. Also, I went and saw Alien Romulus at the Alamo Drafthouse, and gotta say, the advertisements they played before the movie really made me understand more why a lot of parents took children to see Alien and the movie Alien, because the merchandising of those movies was insane. They made so many toys for children based off of the Alien designs. And guys, that movie is not for children. I don't know if you know anything about Alien. It is definitely not for children. But they're like, yeah, you know what? Let's make it into toys. Children love toys. Can I get a plush xenomorph? Probably. Yeah, they did make a kids show for RoboCop, but at least that makes sense because there was like a kids show. Like they marketed that show in particular for kids. Children were tougher back then. They were built by Ford. God. I had an Alien Queen action figure and it scared the shit out of me. Yeah. What? Did H.R. Geiger's like designs of like alien rape, was that fun for children to play with? I don't get it, man. Hey, John Morano. That's true. Jurassic Park isn't for children either, but children do be loving dinosaurs. Like it's not hard to see that design take off. Have I heard of Geiger's backstory? No. I know a lot about H.R. Geiger, but I genuinely don't know. I prefer not to know when it comes to Geiger. Is he like a horrible racist or something? My understanding is that H.R. Geiger is just like a really weird dude. I don't think he was. I haven't heard about him being a racist, but I have heard of him being like really sad and really weird. AO3 is down. What do we do? What do we have to replace it? Wait, is AO3 is down like permanently? Hey, Leshy. All right. Folks, remember, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, because we're about to dive in. And it's about to get real weird real fast. So buckle in, folks. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Y'all ready for this, guys? Gals and non-binary pals? Before I start, this is your obligatory, hey, consider dropping subs, donos, memberships, etc., super chats, etc. All appreciated. This show is brought to you by viewers like you. Now let's fucking go. Folks, one thing that conservatives have been on a tear about lately has been the protecting the children. Protect the children. Think of the children, why don't you? And I guess in that spirit, PragerU has decided to start a new segment that, I mean, maybe it's not new, but it's the first time I'm seeing it, called The Hustle. Now, I was curious. I hadn't seen this before, and this video in particular has 172,000 views. And I genuinely don't know why. Especially considering a lot of PragerU's like main videos these days are getting like 29,000 views, 60,000 views. I mean, some excerpts from like Dennis Prager's Fireside Chat are getting 6,000 views. Like, that's crazy considering their channel has 3.3 million subscribers. Okay? And so I was just looking through this, I was like, oh, what are we going to look at today? And I noticed that one of their new segments here just really popped off. And I hadn't seen it before, so I was curious. And it's called Steeped in History, Sage and Folly Historical Apothecary. I was like, what is this? What is this? And why is it speaking to so many of their conservative viewers? So let's take a look and see what's going on.
Is there a recipe for major profits hidden in the pages of a 250-year-old book?
I got a hold of the recipe book for 18th century beauty.
Sage is turning heads with beauty products and tempting taste buds with herbal teas.
Ooh, that's really good.
She makes her products with natural ingredients and a heavy dose of historical accuracy.
My name's Sage Towsey. I'm 13 years old, and I run Sage and Folly Historical Apothecary.
In this episode of The Hustle, we'll learn how Sage used product research and a passion for history to create the Sage and Folly brand. We'll also look at how she positioned her brand and products to reach new customers while giving each one a timeless experience.
Okay, can I, real quick, I assume these are her parents or her family here, like, this doesn't feel like a one-child operation. This is weird, right? Like, I'm not alone in thinking that, like, this is, like, really off-putting. That, like, this 13-year-old is going to historical reenactment fairs and dressing up and like, it's one thing if like this is what she wants to do, and that could very well be, but I'm wondering why this resonates so hard with the conservative audience, because I don't think there are hundreds of thousands of people, or sorry, tens of thousands of people in PragerU's audience that are just really into historically accurate teas.
And products to reach new customers while giving each one a timeless experience.
Who are your customers? Who's buying your products?
People who are interested in just history, kids who are like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, I want to be like you. I get a lot of veterans who just love what I do.
Okay, I know it's not her fault. Like, she's obviously not editing this
like
video.
I get,
but like, it is really funny that they edited a video clip of her handing tea to a Revolutionary War veteran. I just, the veterans just love me. The veterans from the Revolutionary War.
a lot of veterans who just love what I do. So it's really broad spectrum, but usually 30s to 60s interested in history.
Sage loves American history. Instead of going to
Okay, so her core customer base are people in their 30s to 60s.
30s to 60s interested in history.
Sage loves American history. Instead of going to concerts, she dresses up for historical reenactments.
I work with children.
At least she isn't selling to Confederate soldiers. Oh God. Okay, that would be very funny. That would. She only sells it to the Confederacy.
The American Revolution, and I'm currently serving as the Western Regional Vice President on the National Board. And so I'm hosting a conference.
I'm sorry. What?
Historical reenactments.
I work with Children of the American Revolution, and I'm currently serving as the Western Regional Vice.
What is okay, I'm sorry. Children of the American, because this sounds like a cult. This sounds like a cult. I've been primed via my steeping in conservative propaganda to view this as a cult. So what is this? Again, I have not pre-watched this, okay? Training tomorrow's leaders to serve our country and preserve our nation's history. Oh, God. Training young leaders since 1895? That is... I'm sorry. What the hell is this? Oh! Okay. Interesting. Okay. Oldest and largest patriotic youth organization. Anyone can join under the age of 22 who is lineally descended from someone who served in the Continental Army or gave material aid to the cause of freedom in the American Revolution. Okay. Harriet Lothrop was a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution and the owner of The Wayside in Concord, Massachusetts. She was the author of several children's books and the widow of publisher Daniel Lothrop. Okay. Felt strongly there needed to be an organization to teach children American history and patriotic values. Six primary objectives: acquire knowledge of American history, preserve and restore places of historical import, with men and women who forwarded American independence, ascertain the deeds and honor the memories of men, women, and children who rendered service to the cause of the American Revolution, to promote the celebration of patriotic anniversaries, to honor and cherish the flag of the United States above every other flag, and to love, uphold, and extend the principles of American liberty and patriotism. I really want to know more about this. This does not seem sufficient. I mean, this basically seems like a little loyalty society. Our story. Yeah. What you up to? Okay. He wrote a book series called Five Little Peppers. Okay. Traditions? Oh my god, okay. Wait, if they have a YouTube channel, we can take a look. What's going on over here? Oh boy. Last video from 3 years ago. Okay. All right. I believe in the Children of the American Revolution as an organization for the training of young people in true patriotism and love of country in order that they shall be better fitted for American citizenship. As a descendant of the founders of my country, I believe that my birthright brings a responsibility to carry on their work, and that as the boys and girls of 1776 took an active part in the war for independence, so the boys and girls of today have a definite work to do for their country. I feel like there are definite racial undertones to this, and the fact that I can't, like, get direct confirmation of it is a little weird. Because if you think about it, chat, if you are basing membership on direct line to people who fought in the Revolutionary War, who does that exclude? Who does that exclude, chat? Isn't this a Fallout faction? Unironically, yes. Everyone who isn't white. Bingo. Bingo. That's the thing, right? Like, this is founded, like, not that long after the Civil War ended, right? And it is a bit suspect to me that it's founded during the time that, like, the Daughters of the Confederacy, and I get the feeling that this is specifically to isolate undesirables from society, or from, you know, true patriots from the undesirables, right? Like, we're talking black people, we're talking, you know, Native Americans, we're also talking, by the way, like, some of the later comers in immigration terms, like the Irish, the Italians, you know, the displaced peoples of Europe following World War II and World War I. We're talking, like, a lot of people who, in, you know, the 1890s were considered not good. What about Jewish yeah? Look, all I'm saying is that there is... I am immediately suspect of this organization. Now, I want to clarify that I'm not saying this child is bad, because she's 13. She has very little agency in, like, being able to choose what group she is affiliated with, really. So, well, like, the thing is, I think it's very easy in an organization like this to just not ever be confronted with that question, right? Like, who is excluded from the organization by its, like, bylaws, you know? The Daughters of the American Revolution, the original org, was founded in 1890. Yeah, I said that. Accusing this child of at least 3 war crimes. No, don't. Let's not do that. I got a Good Citizen Award from the Daughters of the American Revolution once. What did you do? Who did you rat out? How many people's blood is on your hands? I kid. Unless there is blood on your hands, in which case you should sort that out and not tell anybody and, you know, continue being on the lam. All right. Anyway, going back to this. I needed to take a trip down that rabbit hole.
President on the national board, and so I'm hosting a conference, and
Yeah, I was saying this was founded when Anglo-Saxon was the white race and everyone else was not. Yeah, true. This is, like, from the time when, like, you know, like how Matt Walsh talks about the Anglo-Saxon race and stuff like that, and, like, you know, Benjamin Franklin wrote about how America was a country for Anglo-Saxons and not for the swarthy Germans or Swedes. That level of racism is what we're talking about here. Also, I saw you commenter on my John Doyle video talking about how Anglo-Saxons aren't an ethnicity, and like, eat my whole ass. Eat my whole ass. Let's see. Do we really? Are we going? Oh, the Angles and the Saxons. Are you happy? Are you happy? The two ethnicities. No intermixing of them. Okay, there we go.
I do a lot with that.
When the pandemic called for an after-school hobby, Sage used her passion for history to inspire.
King Arthur was French. He can go sleep with the Normans. I don't know.
The creation of products people use every day.
My parents said, do something that's not watching TV or doing video games.
Instead of inventing new products, she relied on recipes that have been trusted for centuries.
So this is the 1774 book called the Toilette de Flora, and this is where I get all of my beauty recipes. It was the recipe book for the ladies on the farm to have fun and enjoy all of the beauty and stuff.
Oh man, okay, but you make sure it's safe, right? Like you make sure guys, makeup. One thing you need to understand, guys, makeup is something that gets absorbed into your skin, and it can be absolutely toxic and deadly. Some of the leading, like, beauty trends at the time in the 1770s were quite literally like putting poison on your skin. Okay, let's see. What can I use to exemplify this? Victorian fashion trend. Like one here. There we go. Found this this wonderful article called "Deadly Victorian Fashions." Okay, fun stuff. All right. Victorian women also routinely burned, a fact showcased by a dressmaker's form displaying a boned corset cinching a tiny waist above a metal hoop, crinoline form. Crinoline fires killed 3,000 women between the late 1850s and the late 1860s in England. Women would lose sense of their circumference, step too close to a fire grate, then flames would be fanned by oxygen circulating under their skirts. Until electricity, ballerinas also routinely perished when the muslin of their tutus met gas lamps. The deaths were referred to at the time as the, quote, Holocaust of ballet girls, unquote. The remedy, flame-retardant fabrics, were seen by many as too ugly to wear. So, that's fun. That's fun stuff. But what I'm looking for here is makeup. All right. Yeah, here's a great one. Here's a great one here. The lengths in which women would go to achieve this natural look would often be deadly. Instead of using lead-based paints popular in Georgian times, some Victorian women would nibble on wafers made of deadly arsenic to achieve bright eyes and a translucent complexion. They would also use drops of belladonna in their eyes to dilate their pupils and make their eyes look better. Belladonna is also known as the deadly nightshade, and in high concentration can cause blindness. A cheaper alternative was lemon or orange juice squirted directly into your eye. So, yeah, beauty standards of the time and prior to this were, not good. Not, to say the least. Can I also bring up one thing? Here we go. How Victorians used common poisons to become drop-dead gorgeous, literally. See. Okay. The look of the consumptive was very desirable. The women with the watery eyes and pale skin, which of course comes with what was from the cadaver in the throes of death. This was the epitome of beauty when it came to the time period and like the immediate, prior times of that. People would literally be like, "Oh man, those dying ladies are so hot. We need to look like those dying ladies." Okay? Literally, it was seen as hot to look like you were suffering from the consumption. Like, guys, the peak beauty standard of the time was looking like you were dying from tuberculosis. Okay? Anyway. Hopefully no one's dying from these cosmetics, because I don't believe they're being tested for safety.
That they were seeing that the French court did, but still be reasonable with what they had.
When Sage started making herbal teas and selling them in her colonial outfit at history reenactments, people noticed. And when they learned she was a history whiz, they tested her knowledge.
I get a lot of people who are like, "Who are you to talk about this? Like, why do you know all this stuff?" I'm a history nerd.
I think that, honestly, I think that's great. Her having an obsession and a special interest in history, that's wonderful. That should be nurtured.
I love just learning everything, and my history teachers have definitely been a big part of that. So when people say stuff like that, I tend to just hit them with facts.
Creating products that teach history to customers is a central part of Sage's brand. Your brand is more than what you sell or do. It's how people perceive you as a company. Customers form an idea of your brand in many ways, through your products, your service, your website, and social media. And all of those things should give them the same great impression. A good perception of your brand usually means customers will come back.
One thing that I really
I do want her to be asked about why she decided to associate her product with Folly. But, I don't know that we're going to get that question.
enjoyed was having repeat customers come back and like, "We tried this, it helped with whatever it was."
Oh, yeah. The Countess of Coventry, Maria Gunning, a society hostess renowned for her beauty, is said to have refused to stop wearing foundation containing white lead even as she lay dying. Yeah, that just be, women be shopping, am I right?
I just love hearing people coming back and like, "This stuff worked, what else do you have? I want to learn more."
When I look at Sage and Folly's product line, I see her love of history everywhere. Learning and sharing history are central to its brand identity.
Everything that I work with is service-oriented. It's not about the money, like most people would say business is, that's what your success is. For me, it's just
It's a business, though, so it's definitely about the money. Like, Like you can't pay employees with knowledge facts. You know, you can't drop a historical truth on them as payment. This isn't an RPG.
Being able to have fun and share what I've learned.
Every company has a brand identity. Finding it means thinking hard about your purpose, your values, and how your product or service reflects those things. By following her values and making the perfect products for history.
Like, where do her parents fit in to all of this? Because I don't think she's going around setting all of this up at historical reenactments by herself.
Fairs, Sage has a firm brand identity. It's even part of her company name.
Sage and Folly comes from, part of it my name, Sage, but it also means wise. And so I think of it as the wise knowledge from our ancestors that so many people have forgotten. And then the Folly, it means kind of silly, fun, ridiculous, and that's where
No. No. Oh no. No. Like building your town on a swamp and then having that town over like this period of like 15 years sink into the swamp is usually what would get that place called, you know, Tim Pool's Folly or something like that. You know, like that's what it means. Like an act of supreme foolishness. Not a haha silly haha. You know, no, like it's It is like if something is an act of folly, it is something where like 99% of everybody else would be able to tell that the thing you're doing is a bad idea. I actually thought maybe it was going to be a play on like traveling snake oil salesmen of the time, you know, like that feels like a name you would give to a business that like travels around in like a horse-drawn carriage and is then like sells you something that kind of works and then just doesn't, you know? I just nah.
I get kind of like your pink powder or your fairy nectar.
Sage also chooses markets that are on brand for her company.
I use these products just on a regular basis.
Are you using anything right now?
I actually have my powder, my white powder in my hair as acting as a dry shampoo, which is kind of like the great-grandfather to dry shampoo.
Are you in any stores?
So I do wholesale with Samson Historical out of Lebanon, Indiana, and then I sell in
I'm trying real hard not to get into like an etymology spat. I'm trying real hard. It's using a lot of my mental faculties to not to restrain myself. Can we maybe call the FDA? Folly doesn't mean like silliness. It literally comes from the word for madness. Like at no point has folly meant like, oh, just a silly little goof, okay? Like, you can, if you spell it differently, it carries that connotation. And in the past, you would have spelled it differently to carry that connotation. But if you are spelling it Folly, that means gigantic mistake. That means an act of such magnitude wrongness that it could only have been done by a madman. That's what that means. It's not objectively wrong. It literally comes from the old French word folly. Folie, which means madness. God. Yeah, you're right. She was obviously using this to refer to architecture. You're right. Oh man, I've been owned in the marketplace of ideas. Yeah, as you can clearly see, her stall was built in the shape of an architectural folly. Look at how much it resembled it. Wowee. My God. Incredible stuff. Incredible. And yet, wow. Wow. Like, it's not a word that means that. I mean, I'm being 100% real here. I'm the one who needs to chill out. I know that I'm being unreasonable. It's true. Joe Biden isn't a leftist. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know that Joe... Actually, we need to update it. Kamala Harris isn't a leftist, guys. Did you know that? Did you know that Kamala Harris isn't a socialist? It's wild. It's wild stuff. Anyway.
In person at Mount Vernon when I do their 3 events a year, and then I do some farmers markets during the summer, and I go to other reenactments, but I'm not in big stores yet.
When Sage decided to grow her inventory, she needed to find the right materials and products to expand her line. Sage dove into a process that companies spend big money on: product research.
I did a lot of research just talking with people and learning from what they've learned. I researched from Colonial Williamsburg, Mount Vernon, the Toilette de Flora, American Duchess a little bit, and it is really hard to read because all the F's look like S's and all the S it's complicated.
Product research means determining what to make.
I bet this was difficult. Like, it's hard to get a hold of, especially it seems like she's going for like, you know, first party. That's not the word I'm looking for. God damn it. First-hand accounts.
How to make it, and whether or not a new product can be successful. It takes a lot of effort, and there are no guarantees a new product will work, but doing the research increases your chances of success. Part of the process is checking to see if a similar product already exists. or existed hundreds of years ago.
When I kind of come up with a new idea, I start cross-referencing immediately. Before I even start making stuff, I'm on websites, I'm on books, I'm looking at stuff, and like, is this historically accurate? As I do research, I get a piece of paper and I just write down everything and come up with like, what can I do? How is this gonna work? And then just kind of start testing it, make friends and family test it. I think sometimes they find me annoying, but.
Sage and Folly's growing product line means the research is paying off. And speaking of products that George Washington might have used, I had to try some.
So over here you have your 18th century tea. Your prosperity tea back here is a recipe that dates back to early 1600s, and it was used by Scottish, Irish, really everybody. And it said that if you drink it and focus on bringing money and luck, it will come. I can't promise that it works, but it has been around for hundreds of years. Your 40 Winks tea, I like to say it's the recipe Martha Washington used.
She is a good salesman. She is a good saleswoman. It's true.
I don't know for sure,
Hey,
but I like to think that it
Thanks
is.
for the raid.
But it is documented that she had a sleepy time tea, and that's exactly what that is.
Can we try some of these?
Yeah. Which one
All right.
would you want to try?
I want to try the prosperity. You say that it'll bring luck and maybe some financial help to me, so
Yeah.
let's give it a try.
All right.
Yeah, it's really floral, herby, almost like it's sweet. There's a little sweetness in there. It's really great.
The teas were impressive, and the stories behind them, even more so.
One of my favorite teas to talk about is the Young Hyson tea. It was thrown overboard at the Boston Tea Party because it was one of the favorite teas at the time. Yeah, I love the story. That said that it's called Young Hyson because they picked the leaves when it was young, so they curled up. And then part of the tea drinking experience was watching it.
I don't get the impression that the guy who hosts this show drinks a lot of tea. You know, something tells me that that's not his bag, you know?
Unfurl in the water.
Building a sweet, inside-out brand is great for business.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my professional fact checker has informed me that consumptive chic is 100 years off, which, to be fair, I did know, but I was using it as an example of like how dangerous cosmetics of the era were. However, I've been informed that lead and mercury were extraordinarily popular at the time. So hopefully that's not in her cosmetics.
But you still have to move product. That means paying attention to what your customers will or won't buy and making hard adjustments.
My bestseller changes every event. It's like at Utah, caffeine, my black teas didn't sell as well as they usually do because I learned that Mormons can't have caffeine.
Have you had any fails along the way?
Definitely. No business is a good business if you haven't grown and had fails. My failures have been more of how to sell. I'm always changing my display because some things work with smaller items and some things don't. One example is my beauty tins. They were originally push-top tins and they kept getting stuck and like I couldn't open them, and when I did open them, powder was everywhere. It was not fun. But now I switched to screw-top tins and they're so much easier to open and there's a lot less product lost. And so that was
Like, she seems like she's got like a lot of good business sense here. Like, I don't want any of this to come across as if like she's doing anything wrong, because I don't think she is.
definitely something.
She's 13 years old, KM Stas. Like, yeah, she's not gonna know that Mormons don't drink caffeine. She's 13 years old and like the vice president of a probably slightly racist, patriotic organization. But like, that's not her fault.
Something that I learned from.
Changing her display or anticipating what kind of tea will sell best makes a huge difference, and it's called positioning. Positioning means improving or adapting your products for a specific market or specific customers, like those who don't drink caffeinated tea. When it comes to positioning your brand and products for better sales, every detail matters. If Sage gets them right, she wins more customers to her brand. With such cool products, it's no wonder Sage has a busy schedule, but her plans to grow her business are revolutionary.
I'm always looking to do more speaking events. That's one of my favorite things to do. I talk to different service organizations. I go to schools, Chautauquas, libraries.
Wait, Mormons can have caffeine, just not coffee and tea? Wait, is it Mormon missionaries who can't have caffeine? I know that there are certain types of Mormons who can't have caffeine.
as well as reenactments. Ideally, if I get like an investor and in a few years I'm able to have a storefront, that would be amazing for me, but school is definitely top priority.
With a strong brand, potent products, and a growing sense of how to position them for new customers, Sage and her
Technically, Mormons can have caffeine. The prohibition is on hot drinks. Are you guys unironically doing a hot is the devil's temperature bit?
business are making strides. Her story is full of lessons for entrepreneurs everywhere, not just history lovers.
Any entrepreneur who wants to start something, I would say pick something that you love or want to learn about. Because if you pick something that you're like, oh, this will make me money, you're not going to have fun with it and you're not going to want to keep doing it. And that's definitely one thing that's kept me going.
What did we learn from Sage and Folly? If you want to grow your business,
Oh, she's trying to dress in period costume.
and win customers, it pays to think of your business as a brand and pay attention to how customers perceive you. Making sure those perceptions fit with your values and purpose means defining your brand identity. Know who you are and communicate that to customers consistently through every touch point. That's how you build customer loyalty. You can also grow your brand and business with product research. Determining what to make and seeing how it compares to what's already out there is all part of the hustle. And once you have new products, selling them takes positioning. Adjust your product or service to suit new markets.
Well, see, that's the thing for Lauren79. Nothing she has done is bad. And so I want to make sure my criticism here is not of her. I do have some serious questions about the parents, though. Like, I have feelings about that. Like, this seems like a weird position to put your 13-year-old in. Like, to put them, like, in the media spotlight for this, and yeah, but I feel like it's different, Sam and Moose, when we're talking about an adult woman, right? Like, an adult woman has the agency to, like, go out there, put herself on camera, and, like, you know, own that experience and the consequences that come from it, right? I don't think that a child should be in that position, you know? I don't think it's a good idea. Maybe she's just a bit, you know, maybe I'm the asshole.
And new customers, but not in a way that goes against your brand identity. Whether it's hair pomade or herbal tea, every product says something about who you are. Doing what you love for the right reasons is a sure way to own your brand and make great products. And while you're at it, you might just make history.
Before we go, where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram and Facebook with my name, Sage Towsey, or you can find me at my website, sageandfollyapothecary.com. And then I'm always looking for more events and speaking engagements.
I'm sorry. Wait, what?
People find you.
I'm on Instagram and Facebook with my name, Sage Towsey, or
Is I So, yeah, no, she's just straight up like the face of the company. Like, nah, guys, if you are a parent and you're putting your child on a national platform to sell her stuff, I think this is weird. I think this is weird. I think this is gross, and I think, like, yeah, this is basically borderline. Like, she's almost not old enough to even have an account. How old do you have to be to have an account on Instagram? Yeah, you have to be at least 13 years old. So like the vibes of this are just rancid, guys. Like, I think she's fine. I think that, like, she's being a kid and she's doing the best she can in the situation she's in. But she's a 13-year-old girl that is being co-opted and used by a massive propaganda outlet to like say, hey, capitalism's great, folks. Look at this. You too can be a child entrepreneur. And like, it's extraordinarily exploitative of her situation. But on top of that, like, she's clearly growing up in some kind of like weird bubble where like she is the national, at 13 years old, mind you, at 13 years old, according to her Instagram page here, she is the national registrar of this of this Children of the American Revolution organization. Like, and how do I put this, guys? The internet is a dangerous place. If you're putting yourself out there on the internet, even if you're an adult, it is a dangerous place where people will try at every single opportunity to get something from you. Okay? The last place you as a parent should want your child at 13 years old is on a propaganda website being viewed by over 100,000 people. Like, that's scary, scary stuff. And at no point in this video are we addressing, like, hey, how did her parents help her start this up? You know, what role? Like, how did she get like a $5,000 investment from her parents? Like, are they the ones who are doing this? Have they been working on like the historical reenactment circuit for ages? Like, I don't think the 30 to 60-year-old customers here are all necessarily there because they have an enduring interest in women's cosmetics and teas. Can I just say that? Can I say that? I think that there are some people here who are dangerous for her as a child.
Or you can find me at my website, sageandfollyapothecary.com. And then I'm always looking for more events and speaking engagements as well.
I'm definitely gonna have to check you out at Mount Vernon one of these days. Thank you.
Like even if your 13-year-old has like a special interest in this, I don't think you're like, yeah, do a business at 13 years old. There are other ways you can learn and grow and nurture this interest other than capitalizing it.
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thanks so much for having me.
You guys, that's a wrap for this episode of The Hustle. As always, make sure to like this video, subscribe, share it with your friends. And if you're an entrepreneur watching, let us know about your business. Maybe next time I'll be asking you about your company. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure. Yeah, you know, totally would drill. This is not a girl. This is a lady. Yeah. What a gifted young woman. Young lady. She's a child. What? Guys, she's 13. If you are surprised at this, it's your first day on the internet, guys. Do you not remember how, like, all kinds of, like, young men and older men have been arguing nonstop about how, like, age of consent shouldn't exist? Or, like, how Matt Walsh talks about how, like, 14 through 16-year-olds are the most fertile? Like, guys, this is part of the conservative ideology. So when I see a 13-year-old on a PragerU video, and I see that it has some of the biggest numbers on any of, like, the segments like this, well, I kind of have an inkling of where that attention is coming from. It's not because the people who watch PragerU are just big fans of period makeup and tea, guys. It's not that. There are actual channels dedicated to that get, like, a couple thousand views a pop, all right? Whoa, are you telling me that rightoids are the real groomers? Hey, I can only lead you to the water. I thought they were into the business hustle shit. No, I don't think that's that's it. Just out of curiosity here. Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, chat, they put out a video from this same The Hustle. Do you guys want to see how many views it got? Do you guys want to see how many views it got 2 weeks ago? Anyone want to take a guess? Anyone want to take a guess? 10K? 600? 100,000? It got, drum roll, 12,000 views. 1/10 the number of views. Actually, less than 1/10 the number of views that the video we previously watched got. Yeah. Yeah. And also, just out of curiosity here, just out of curiosity here. Okay. All right. It just seems to me that I find this very sussy. And I guess that's all I have to say about that. I wish her well, but also I wish her safety, man. Like, I have to imagine. I just hope that, like, her parents keep her safe from this type of abuse that is absolutely going to, like, come her way. Like, I don't know. Like this isn't unique to her either. Like there was a famously an internet countdown clock to the moment Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen became legal adults. Like the internet has long been an extraordinarily creepy place for children. Which is why I would never in a million years want like a kid of mine to be propped up on like a propaganda website to hundreds of thousands of people. Yeah, there have since been quite a number of those countdown clocks. It's true. So anyway. Boom. Yeah, obligatory r/jailbait was the largest subreddit on the website until it got scrubbed. And now the owner of Reddit was the former mod of that channel. Yeah. Yeah, Jenna Ortega is another one. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No, this couldn't possibly be her. Oh, wait. Oh my god. No, this is her. Holy shit. Also, I think she may have been like a child actor. Like her parents tried to push her into child acting. Maybe? Cuz it looks No, this couldn't be. No. I refuse. This does to me. Fuck. Okay, wait. I need to do a little sleuthing. I'm sorry. This is fucking with my head a little bit. Okay. So I'm a bit torn here. It looks like she may have been a child actress. Starting with The Adventures of Lana Tuna, and I think that this is her. But like a while back, and it looks like she's been on like television shows and movies. I do not know if this is the same person. It does look remarkably similar if you like, you know, as a younger girl, obviously. But like, we have period costume, we have remarkable similarity. They've been pushing her into this colonial shtick since 2019. Oh god. How to make a corn husk doll. That is a bit cursed. Sage's Colonial Craft Supply Shop. Yeah, okay. She's like super tiny. How long ago was this video? This was 4 years ago? This was when she was 9 years old. Oh. Oh boy. Huh. This is weird. Guys, if you're a parent, don't do this. Don't make a YouTube channel and post like personal videos of you and your family. That's weird. That's weird. Don't do that. Was the whole thing a lie? I don't think it's a lie. I think they're genuinely into, as like a family, into the reenactment life. But it does feel like she's basically been put front and center in videos for the last 5 years. So she would have been 8 years old. She would have been 8 years old. The first how-to video on this channel is 5 years old. How to make a quill pen. Don't do that. Don't do this. Do you remember when a wave of mommy vloggers had to be banned because pedos kept links and timestamps of vids with kids in them? This was real. I do remember that, and that is why this is a horrible idea. Don't post pictures and videos of your children online. Don't do it. Don't do it. God. This became so much more disturbing than I thought it would be. Like, let me point out exactly where I think this all went wrong. It's right here. It's right here. It's in the first video, because you can see, you know, first video that gets posted here, 19 views, 27 views, 27 views, 110 views. Oh god, the fourth video is literally a 3rd grade school report. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm horrified by this. But then you clearly see what happened, and that's, it went from like a couple views to almost 5,000 views on this video. And they realized they were onto something, so they started posting this content more often. God. And then they like spun it off into its into its own thing. God damn it. This is so gross. I genuinely hope that kid like gets freedom, you know. I hope that this doesn't like harm them. Move on then. I'm going to. But like I just want this to be a cautionary tale. Don't do this. Don't do this to your kids. Don't like fucking monetize your children. Okay? We didn't take our kids out of the mines just so they could make like entrepreneurial businesses for you. I just... We're staring into the abyss, Reed. Children shouldn't be brands. Yeah. You probably shouldn't allow your kid to like be repped on a national stage by a conservative propaganda outlet. And if you are going to allow that, definitely don't then give your child a social media account where they can be contacted by strangers. Don't do that. That's fucked up. Yeah, it makes me upset. But anyway, we're moving on. And folks, we've now been going for an hour and 40 minutes. If you've been enjoying the show or getting anything out of this, please consider hitting the follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the YouTube stream, and please consider dropping those subs and donos. Whomst among you will be the first to step up and support stream today? Whomst among us? Let's see. In happy news, I had a date. First in 5 years, it went well. Nice. Congrats, non-binary. That's true, Forlorn. As if you're indoctrinating kids the right way, then it's good, according to conservatives. Have I finished watching the 2025 leaks? I have not. I have just been out of town and busy, and we're still playing catch up. Don't leave already? I'm not leaving already. I'm just asking for subs and donos to, like, make my content possible. Let's see here. Yeah, it was one segment, guys. Let's not lose our heads. I'm not leaving yet.
Host. What kind of word is host?
A-O-U-U-U-U-Y-Y-Y-Y-B-W-A.
Thank you very much for the $5 dono, KBS, and for being the first person to support stream today. Thank you for feeding the hungry dono ghost. And also, I did clip the segment. I did do it. Thank you. We also learned that text-to-speech can't read whomst, which is very weird. Ooh, whomst? Whomst is definitely a word. All right. Let's move on. You know what? We're going to break up this, the Matt Walsh videos. We're going to do Matt Walsh next. We're going to keep it a little bit light. So there's a guy named Matt Walsh, and he hates everything that is good in this world. So of course we need to check out what his top 5 most overrated films are. Now, of course, before we get into this, we do need to try and guess what his top 5 will be. I'm going to guess a Lord of the Rings movie is on there. I'm going to guess Star Wars. I am also going to guess Barbie. I think Citizen Kane. He might do a Citizen Kane. That does seem like a Matt Walsh thing to do. Is it going to be Barbie? Barbie seems too obvious. Is he doing Alien? Good Burger. Oh, Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind. I think, or the Third Kind? Whatever. Oh, and Schindler's List. Okay, boom. We got it. We got it. All right. Let's go. Yep. It's going to be Schindler's List. Yep. All right, let's go.
We're rolling.
I'm genuinely upset. You know, congrats Matt Walsh's editor. It's insane. You've managed to make me upset in the first 5 seconds of the video by besmirching the good name of Flappy Bird. For those of you who don't know and don't care, Flappy Bird was a game that was made by like one guy back in 2014. So this is a 10-year-old reference. And it got so popular so quickly that it basically ruined that guy's life. And so he decided to kill it. Meaning he made it, like, he delisted it from everything and has now, like, faded into obscurity. And, like, my God. Flappy Bird was a phenomenon. How did it ruin his life? It just gave him so much more media attention, and people wouldn't shut up, like, at him about Flappy Bird, and he just really didn't like it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Flappy Bird didn't deserve this. Flappy Bird didn't die for your sins for this.
Today we're going to run down a list of the 5 most overrated films of all time. Now, this is the definitive list. There can be no argument, no discussion. We should turn off comments on YouTube because this list is so verifiably correct that there's really nothing to...
I'm sorry. Why... again, Matt Walsh's editor. Why are you putting a 420 reference in your editing, man? Cause like 420 Blaze It is a you know, it's a weird look for Matt Walsh. But okay.
Turn off comments on YouTube because this list is so verifiably correct that there's really nothing to talk about. Now, one thing to remember as we proceed is this. Overrated does not mean bad. So I'm not saying that the films on this list are bad. Some of them are, but not all of them. Overrated just means that they aren't as good as people make them out to be. Their reputation is greater than the actual product on the screen. So let's begin. Number 5, Shawshank Redemption. Now, this is not a bad...
Damn it, I should have seen this one coming. Every white dude loves Shawshank Redemption. Damn it, I should have known this one. I should have seen it coming.
Film. It is, in fact, it's a pretty good film, but it has games.
Wait, the developer of Flappy Bird has kept making games? That's nice. Good for him.
The reputation of a cinematic masterpiece, mostly because millennials grew up watching the movie on TNT, where it...
Wow. Okay. Way to play the gang rape scene in your video, Matt? That's really weird. That is a weird choice to put in your video.
Aired approximately 46 times a week. And Shawshank it's a fine story. It's a well-told story, but it's also incredibly cliched, overwrought, quite cheesy, extremely predictable. Every character is a walking archetype. Every story beat can be seen from a mile away. The movie doesn't do anything new or different with the prison drama format, except sanitize it. So Shawshank is to prison movies what Remember the Titans is to football movies. They're both massively overrated. Not even the best versions of their...
Oh, damn. Oh, God. Okay, football movies. Is he gonna... I bet he's gonna drop Rudy. That's another one of my guesses.
Particular subgenre, much less are they in the conversation for the greatest movies of all time. My biggest problem, though, with Shawshank is that the inmates are all the nicest, most decent human beings you could ever meet.
They literally rape the main character. I don't know. You even showed that part in your video, Matt.
Minus the 2 who are rapists.
It's not 2 of them, Matt. There's like 6 of them.
It's your world, boss.
All the rest of them are kind, sensitive, friendly souls. They hang out, they play board games.
Hey, Summerstar.
They go to the library, they start...
Yeah, believe it or not, most people in prison aren't going to try and murder you. You know, like that isn't the norm.
A book club, they run a lemonade stand out front. Not all that actually happens in the movie, but it could have happened. So if not for the evil warden and the couple of rapists, Shawshank actually seems like not a bad place to spend time. Like, it's not...
Matt Walsh secretly yearns to be behind bars.
Not even clear why Tim Robbins wants to escape so badly.
Hey, Summerstar.
So, and that takes away from a lot of the drama and the tension.
You know, we can only hope that this is some kind of self-fulfilling prophecy from Matt Walsh.
Number 4, Toy Story.
Okay. Interesting. Not at all. Not at all what I was expecting, but okay.
Now, again, a good film for what it is. It's one of the best kids' movies in the last 3 decades. It's just not good enough to warrant 3 sequels with a 4th on the way. No! My main problem with Toy Story is the villain, Sid, who's the supposedly evil child living next door in the first Toy Story film. But what is Sid's great crime? Like, what did he do wrong? He takes apart his toys and reassembles them. This makes him a bad person?
Well, in the context of Toy Story, Sid is akin to like some kind of minor eldritch deity, you know, who coming into possession of new and incredible treasures decides to experiment with them. You know, like, he doesn't know that they're alive, and frankly, he's not terribly worried about that possibility. And in much the same way, Toy Story draws upon this kind of, you know, eldritch mythos to inform its storytelling.
He didn't know the toys were alive. So How could you blame him for that? He thought they were inanimate objects.
No one blames him for that. You're missing the point of Toy Story. You're missing the point of Sid as a villain. Like, Sid didn't know that they were alive, but the story is being told from the perspective of the toys. And so from the perspective of the toys, he's a monster because he's ripping them apart and sewing them back together. The same way if like a gigantic alien came to Earth and just started like pulling people's limbs off and like sewing other creatures to people, we'd be like, that's a horrible monstrosity, an evil being that must be stopped. And it's like, oh, and then we find out that that entity had no idea creatures this small could be alive. Like, that's a classic sci-fi trope, you know? It's just applied in an unconventional way here. And he's supposed to be a scary antagonist for the toys. It's just that we, not being toys, have the perspective of, you know, adult human beings, something Matt Walsh allegedly is familiar with. And we know that Sid is just a child playing with his toys. So, yeah.
How can we blame him for his treatment of inanimate objects? Like if it turns out that my...
Well, they're not inanimate though?
Finally getting more work. Feels good to be able to donate to you once again. Thank you for all your hard work, Jack. You make such informative and entertaining content.
Well, thank you very much. Vlad Toltos. Thank you for donos.
Finally getting more work.
We don't need to hear it twice though. Thank you for the $20 dono. Thank you for supporting stream. Viewers like you make this content possible. Thank you so goddamn much.
Share is actually...
Oh my god, that was so loud. Hikigo Corgi, thank you for being subscribed for 20 months. Thank you for another month of Prime. Hell yeah, let's go.
Am I suddenly a scumbag for sitting on it all these years? So in fact, Sid is...
Yeah, well, no. Morally, you're not a scumbag if you are doing it in ignorance. You would only be a scumbag if you continued to, like, torture toys after you learned that they were sentient, right?
Arguably a more sympathetic character than Andy. Sid is creative. He takes old toys and turns them into like new shapes and interesting creatures.
Okay, but like...
Creative?
He's creative, but he clearly did this specifically to antagonize his sister and make her feel bad. Like, he ripped the head off her favorite doll. So like, Matt Walsh, you're literally just supporting children bullying each other. Don't you have like 4 of them?
He takes old toys and turns them into like new shapes and interesting creatures. Meanwhile, Andy forms very unhealthy fixations on his toys, never does anything interesting or creative with them. And like, there's nothing wrong with a child having a toy, but it's like, it's a bit overboard. Okay, you're a little bit too old to be this attached to your toys, Andy.
I'm sorry. Andy age Toy Story 1. He's 6 fucking years old. Yeah, you 6-year-old, you're too into having a toy. My god, dude. Matt Walsh, I wish he would do more segments like this because he genuinely shows his entire ass when he does segments like this, where he like just has no media literacy whatsoever. It's incredible. Like, yeah, it's so unhealthy for a 6-year-old to be playing extensively with toys. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? His children must live in an unending nightmare.
Well, whatever, all right? I mean, it's time to grow up.
So it may seem unfair for me to rate Toy Story as overrated just for this reason, but this is my list and I'll do what I want. Like I said, we're not talking about it. Your comments are not welcome. I don't care what you think. This is just the truth. Number 3, The Dark Knight.
Nope. Andy Davis is 6 years old in the first Toy Story. Okay, we should have seen The Dark Knight coming too. This is one we should have seen coming. Honestly, though, he should love the Dark Knight movies. They are pretty conservative in their values.
Now, once again, good film. It just isn't the masterpiece that people make it out to be. Without Heath Ledger's great performance, this movie wouldn't be remembered for anything in particular. Like, take Heath Ledger out of it.
Yeah, man. That's the case with all movies with the Joker in them. Like, the movie kind of hangs on the performance and the chemistry between the Joker and Batman. He's like the primary antagonist. But yeah, Dark Knight is overrated, but you know what? I'm gonna say this. It holds up really well. Okay? It holds up really well. Way better than I remembered it when I revisited it a few years ago.
What does anyone remember about this movie? Who cares about this movie except for that? It's great by Batman.
Like people still quote that movie in like everyday parlance. People still quote it like all the time. You've never seen The Dark Knight? Maybe we'll have to have a viewing of the trilogy, okay, on Discord.
Movie standards, but it's not great as a piece of cinema.
I thought my jokes were bad.
For example, how does the Joker wire an entire...
Okay, strike one, all right? Matt Walsh, all right? When you are trying to talk about something as a work of cinema, and then you decide to try and, like, plot, like, it's not a great work of cinema. For example, how does this character get from point A to point B? Well, the answer is movie magic, man. Like, sometimes that's just the answer. Sometimes it's that, you know, we're watching a movie of, like, interconnected scenes, and we're not watching people go from point A to point B in one continuous shot. Time works differently in a movie. Have you ever noticed, Matt, that sometimes a movie might take place over the course of months, and yet the runtime is only an hour and a half? What's cinema?
Hospital with enough explosives to demolish it in 15 seconds without anyone noticing. This is a working hospital. People are in it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. How did you wired the whole thing? It's not even just like one part of it explodes. The whole thing is taken down.
Now, get ready.
Yeah. You want to know how? Money and movie magic.
Now, the movie hopes...
You expect me to believe that Batman is able to secretly develop all of his technology in-house in Gotham Industries and, or in Wayne Industries, and no one catches on? Huh. What a plot hole. Best film ever. More like best poop ever. Huh.
So you won't notice that problem because you'll be distracted by, like, the moment in the hospital when Joker shows up in Two-Face's room wearing a surgical mask and isn't noticed by Two-Face until he takes the mask off. But even with the mask on, you can still tell that he has white face paint and black paint around his eyes. So how did Two-Face, the criminal genius, not notice that? Well, maybe it's because Two-Face isn't a criminal genius in this. He's a villain for about a half a scene.
Yeah, he's not a criminal genius because he's a lawyer, man. It's called an origin story. This showed how this guy became bad, and therefore, not a villain.
and then he's dead. It's like Christopher Nolan forgot to include Two-Face. They were about to put the movie out. You know, it was like a week and the movie's gonna come out, and someone says, whoa, we forgot, we're gonna put Two-Face in this thing. Oh yeah, and they gotta go back and they just add Two-Face in. And you can just take Two-Face out and it doesn't change anything in the movie at all.
Harvey, I'm sorry.
But my biggest issue...
One of the best parts about The Dark Knight is that the Joker understands himself. You know, like, there is an air of assuredness about him, despite the fact that, like, he's absolutely insane. You know, like, it's the confidence of insanity that is wonderful about his performance.
Is the end when Joker somehow wires two boats, two ferries with explosives. Again, nobody knows how he did this. And then the passengers on each boat are told that they have to press a button.
Yeah, man, the movie would have been so much better if they had just spent 30 minutes showing the Joker meticulously threading explosives in a hospital and on a boat.
And blow the other boat up before their own boat explodes. And one of the boats is full of convicted criminals, right? And then of course, all the...
Is Matt Walsh is like, obviously you blow up the boat with criminals, kill them all.
The criminals band together and decide to do the right thing and not blow up the other boat. They said, hey, come on, guys, let's do the right... Come on, folks. Hey, fellas, come on, let's do the right thing here. Because we all know that criminals are renowned for their humanity.
Dude. We all know criminals would instantly kill you if they had the chance.
And generosity and lack of self-interest. Maybe these were all inmates, you know, from Shawshank. Like maybe that they just so happen to be the nicest criminals ever happen to be on this boat. So the movie just didn't have the courage of its convictions. That's what I didn't like about it. Let me ask you something.
Why are they so utterly illiterate in media? My theory is that basically the conservative mindset makes you illiterate when it comes to art and media. You know, like, in order for your ideology to function, you're forced, you are checkmated into media illiteracy out of necessity to preserve your ideological, like, foundations, you know?
What if there was someone out there who kept a log of every single thing you did every minute of the day?
Yeah, no, exactly. No, me. This is what I mean. Like, people in chat have been saying Matt Walsh's editor hates him, and it's like...
Boat explodes. And one of the boats is full of convicted criminals, right? And then, of course, all the criminals band together and decide to do the right thing.
Except they don't. You're literally showing us how they don't do that? You're literally showing us how, like, in the scene, the guards are like, yeah, we should blow up the boat, but we don't want to, like, murder people. And in this scene, this big dude is like, give me the switch and we'll do the right thing for all of us. And then he throws it out the window.
Not blow up the other boat. They said, hey, come on, guys, let's do the right... Come on, folks. Hey, fellas, come on. Let's do the right thing.
It's not like the switch on the ignition of the bomb was decided by democratic vote.
Here, because we all know that criminals are renowned for their humanity and generosity and lack of self-interest. Band together and decide to do the right thing.
They band together to just one guy throws it out the window. Did he even watch the film? No, clearly not. Skip this. Oh, is it Thor?
Movie canon, they are all overrated because they're all rated as being...
Okay, another one we should have seen coming. This is all Marvel movies. All Marvel movies. We should have... Not a single one of us guessed a Marvel movie. Huh.
At least better than cinematic slop, which is what they all are. Okay, they're all bad. Like every single Marvel movie is bad. There's never been a good one, I hate to tell you.
The original Iron Man is really, really great. So the original Guardian of the Galaxy was a real breath of fresh air. Ant-Man is wildly underrated to me. Doctor Strange 2016, again, enjoyable.
Oh, Ben. Ben, you have bad Marvel movie takes.
And Thor Ragnarok is just pure silly.
The Marvel superhero franchise started out with like silly, dumb movies that were silly and dumb, but at least kind of fun in a very brainless, bordering on mind-numbing way. But then as the films kept getting churned out, they got longer and longer and more redundant and lazier. Like by the end of this whole run, each movie is 6.5 hours long. And it's the same, like somehow.
But you're putting them on a list of are they overrated though? Like, them being overrated is not really at all related to how long they are.
Every movie is the same as the last one, but longer. Aside from that, the movies have no stakes. And this problem became more pronounced as they started adding multiple universes and so on, until there were so many realities and so many universes that nothing that happened in any particular universe matters anymore. You can kill off somebody in one universe, there's an infinite supply of new versions to replace them. So who gives a shit then at that point?
See what I mean? Not very bright.
His editor is cooking him right here, right? Like, I love that this could absolutely be used either in terms of, yeah, Marvel's business strategy isn't very bright, or Matt Walsh is just extremely stupid. But like, okay, for real. One thing that I hate about the idea of like, oh yeah, multiverse means nothing matters. Okay, but not just anyone can jump between multiple universes, right? Like, Deadpool gets to do it. Deadpool gets to do it, but that's because he's fucking Deadpool, you know? Like, I don't know. I think multiverse stuff is fine. I think it can be really fun. Yeah, you are perfectly capable of achieving meaninglessness with just one universe. The problem isn't multiverse. The problem is like corpo sludge. That's the problem. The problem is a lot of movies, specifically in Marvel, have a lot of money riding on them. And because they have a lot of money riding on them, the producers and production basically, and the people who fund it, you know, they want to make sure they make their money back. So what do? They go with the safest option at every conceivable juncture, which means the movies aren't necessarily great, but they're not bad. And they make their money back plus 2-3 times their investment, you know? It's, I don't know. Also, goddamn, that Deadpool and Wolverine movie slaps. It's just good. I like it a lot, okay? If you want a movie that, like, really kind of wrestles with the idea that multiverses make things not matter and, like, hey, points out, hey, you can have fun with things not mattering, I think that movie is great for that. Still think Deadpool and Wolverine's heavily bloated with excess and could lose like an hour? Yeah, maybe. I had a lot of fun with it. To me, it was what I wanted to see in that movie, and I was quite satisfied. It also, unironically, was the funniest movie I've seen in a theater in a long time. There aren't that many great comedies coming out, and that one filled the void. Moving right along.
You know, in the old days, a superhero was fighting a villain who wanted to, you know, maybe take over a city or something. But then it's like, okay, now they want to destroy a whole planet, and then they're going to destroy a whole galaxy, and then eventually he's going to destroy the whole universe. Except that
Except he didn't destroy the whole universe. He killed half of all life, which is not the whole universe. It's only 50% of the universe, Matt. Did you ever think about that, nerd?
Doesn't even matter because this is one universe of a trillion, and so who cares about this universe? But the writing was so bad and so lazy that even the threat of universal destruction wasn't enough to create any real emotional investment in the story. Number one.
I'm gonna guess by yeah, okay, we did get one guess right. We got one guess right. But I am gonna say my prediction for the whole Doctor Doom arc of this next era of Marvel, I think Doctor Doom is somehow gonna get all the multiverses to collapse into one. I think that's gonna be kind of like one of their big things. I think they're just gonna collapse the multiverse. That's my prediction. I don't know how Doctor Doom will do it, but I think that's how it's gonna go.
The most overrated film of all time is Star Wars.
Boo.
It's fine. It's decent. It's not deserving of the worshipful praise it receives, and it certainly does not warrant the 10 billion trillion films and shows and everything else that came after them.
It's not true.
The original Star Wars movies were solid B movies.
That's impossible.
The acting.
Yeah, that's the point, Matt. They were made off of serials. Classic television series. They were those things given Hollywood movie budgets. That was the point, Matt.
It's pretty poor, especially by Mark Hamill. Really, really bad acting.
I like that Matt Walsh's videos now have like I don't know, like this unseen secondary presence of his editor like pushing back on him, you know? It'd be nice if we saw over time just like the editing getting more and more hostile towards Matt. That would make me personally quite happy.
Acting. The script is kind of cheesy and derivative in parts. And I say derivative not because, everything after Star Wars is ripping it off, so I'm just used to it. Even Star Wars when it came out was derivative of sci-fi that had come before it. It actually was.
Wow, what a crazy what a crazy observation, Matt.
Not doing anything all that new.
George Lucas would have told you that, man.
And but that's fine. Darth Vader is a 12-year-old boy's idea of a scary villain. Like, he's not actually menacing, and he doesn't create real tension. Like, if I'm...
He almost chokes a man to death from across the room. And everyone acts like they pissed themselves. What do you mean? In the first, 5 minutes of the movie, he holds up a guy bodily off the ground with one hand and snaps his neck. What do you... Oh, he's not scary at all. He's basically an SS officer if he was, had superpowers. What do you mean?
I'm in a room and Darth Vader walks in, I'm not going to be that scared. I'm sorry, I'm not that scared.
Oh, okay. But Matt, you understand when you say that, all you're telling us is that...
But that's fine. Darth Vader is a 12-year...
You're just telling us that you're this guy. That's what you're telling us. You're telling us that you're this guy who wasn't scared of Darth Vader, mocked him to his face, and then almost was suffocated at their war council meeting. You're just telling us you're that guy.
Scared. I'm sorry, I'm not that scared. You got again with the cape. The first thing I'm thinking is why are you wearing it? You're a dork already because you're walking around in a cape. You don't need to have the cape on.
It's a sci-fi adventure story about space wizards, man. Your number one complaint about Darth Vader is the cape?
And I'm just not I'm not that scary. Sorry. Anton Chigurh walks in, I'm scared. Okay? I'm scared.
You're scared of this autistic man with a bowl cut? That's scary to you? Like, I'm sorry, okay? Pro tip to defend yourself from Anton Sugar, okay? If he shows up, you shoot him with a gun. Problem solved. All right? You either shoot him with a gun or you stay outside of immediate close combat range and avoid the pneumatic like cow slaughterer, okay? Like it's not rocket science. He's scary because the movie frames him in a scary way as like the embodiment of pure evil. Like he's kind of like a Michael Myers type figure, except more arbitrary. And like, yeah, as an autistic person myself, I disavow. But like, Darth Vader's a space wizard. He just straight up murders you.
By that guy. A bunch of 12-year-old boys watched those movies when they came out in the 70s and 80s and loved them, which is understandable. But then they grew up and they insisted that the movies are still as great as they remember them being when they were 12. And that's the problem. Nothing is as good as you thought it was when you were 12, okay? You were 12.
Okay. All right. You think you can do this to me?
And Star Wars is the same way. Now, you all need to grow up and realize that.
The answer is never. Do you hear me?
Okay, genuinely, editor for Matt Walsh's show, you deserve a union and higher wages, okay?
Never ever.
I love that Matt Walsh's editor took the time to edit together this like heroic montage of Star Wars movies as a giant fuck you at the end of Matt Walsh's own video. Amazing stuff. Amazing. And then they work for the Daily Wire, so, you know, you can't win them all. So I think we learned today that Matt Walsh is functionally illiterate when it comes to media and film, which is not surprising to anyone who's heard Matt Walsh talk at length about basically anything. So, with that being said, we're done with the segment. Go home. JK, you're already home. Because home is where the heart is, and your heart is right here with me. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. What's that? Ba-bum, ba-bum. Oh, you should like the stream? Ba-bum, ba-bum. And subscribe? Ba-bum, ba-bum. And follow? Ba-bum, 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 ba-bum. And subscribe? That's right. I crushed your heart. Don't worry, you got backups. Do we got any dono ghosts in the chat? That's scary. I'm sorry. I shouldn't scare you guys like that. The dono ghost made me do it. Petition to call Matt Walsh Paul Bunyan from now on. As a resident of the great state of Minnesota, I reject that petition. Paul Bunyan, okay, deserves better than Matt Walsh. The Gift Ghost. Oh, I'm sorry, Gamer G. My family was at the New York State Fair that happens near my hometown, and there was a guy with a gun. Yo, I hope everyone's okay. People got really weird over the long weekend, and like last night, I was coming back from Alien Romulus, and like a guy was like weirdly running across the street, dropped a gun, and then ran back into the street, into oncoming traffic to pick up his gun. And it was a weird vibe of a night yesterday. Husband was with my 19-year-old. My 16-year-old was with her boyfriend. They saw a guy pull out a gun, and my daughter's boyfriend hoisted her over a fence. Were there shots fired? That's terrifying. I'm so sorry to hear that, Ms. Genderlin. The news is saying no, but there are many people who said they heard shots, so I don't know. That's scary. Well, I'm glad none of you or yours were hurt. That's so scary. Ooh. All right, folks, I need to take a bathroom break because we've been going for 2.5 hours. But when I come back, we'll either do Redeemed Zoomer or Zoomer Historian. One of those. Just as a reminder, Reformed Zoomer has a video about uniting all Christian denominations, his plan to do that, and Zoomer Historian just has some Nazi apologia. So, let's go! BRB.
streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, daily, plenty more. Your sense of fashion, you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Viva Jack, 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 Viva Jack. That's what I'm talking about. First time singing the songs for Viva Jack. Shout out. I don't know what I'm doing really, but I got passion. That's what it's about. It's all about passion. Swishy streams, all that content is bursting the seams. Politics, daily, plenty more. Your sense of fashion, you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Viva Jack, 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 He called himself a hillbilly, wrote an elegy. His problem and his trouble is he went back and he doubled down on the fascism and the lies, and then he made a fatal crime. Couch fucker, what's your deal? J.D. Vance is cut by Peter Thiel. Couch fucker, why must he lie? We must stop Project 2025. But in 2005 you wrote back then only one time. I felt femininely when I saw that movie about New Jersey. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I must deny. And that's when J.D. Vance said he wants trans people to go die. Couch fucker, what's your deal? J.D. Vance is cut by Peter Thiel. Couch fucker, why must he lie? We must stop Project 2025. At the RNC, he felt maybe I'll be free if I take up on this task, being MAGA starting grasp to take over the country. I think J.D. Vance needs a swirly. Couch fucker, what's your deal? J.D. Vance is cut by Peter Thiel. Couch fucker, why must he lie? We must stop Project 2025. Couch fucker, what's your deal? J.D. Vance is cut by Peter Thiel. Couch fucker, why must he lie? We must stop Project 2025.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? All right. I think we have a lot of content to go through, and honestly, the thing that I have the time,
The new film Reagan
and inclination to go over.
Dono
Holy
Ghost
shit!
says OBWA.
Penny and T with the $250 dono. Dono Ghost eating good
Do you
tonight.
remember the second night of September? B-A-Y-A. Never was a cloudy D-A.
Oh, it's a Dono Ghost. Paladin, thank you for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs as well. Thank you so goddamn much. Yo, Penny. Good golly. And I do have to check. The 0 there was not a typo. If so, I will obviously refund, but I have to check. Goddamn. The Dono Ghost eating good. Oilers greasing the wheels to go maglev speed? Yeah, no kidding, guys. Hot diggity damn. Also, just want to shout out viewership tonight. We've got a good, like, 250 people watching. This is a good job, everybody. I'm proud of you guys. We're moving up in the world. Your streams have been a big comfort while I've been in radiation treatment. That was not a typo. Honestly, like, thank you for sharing that with me. Like, it helps to know that my content helps, you know? The word, like, sometimes I can feel like I'm shouting into the void, or like it's not, my points aren't connecting, and that's difficult for my brain. So I'm glad you get something out of this. All right. Now, folks, I think we are going to cover Zoomer Historian. Let's go, folks. What's the Abyss? We're looking at a Nazi YouTuber today named Zoomer Historian, who has a video channel here on YouTube where he just goes over an awful lot of history, focusing on the SS and the Nazis and Adolf Hitler. And I figured we'd dive into one of his shorter videos called The Nazi Blue Eyes and Blonde Hair Myth. So let's find out more about that, shall we? Here we go.
One of the most egregious myths of the Third Reich is that those who did not have blonde hair and blue eyes were treated differently. The way these people were treated differently, according to myth, varies dramatically. Many people, especially in Western countries, usually have a vague memory of being told something in history class, along the lines of, Hitler wanted to kill everyone without blonde hair and blue eyes, without much explanation of the actual truth behind the matter. And then, this is usually followed up by the people in the class who have these features being pointed out, and a classmate or the teacher themselves saying, Hitler would have loved you. Usually, then someone makes a remark like, haha, Hitler didn't even have blonde hair himself. What an idiot. This opinion is usually only held after childhood by those who have had absolutely no interest in history, however.
Okay, so, oh god, I have so much to say about this. All right, he's pretty loud compared to the rest of the stream. Yeah, I can turn it down a little bit. So, guys, when it came to the idea of the Aryan race, you know, the idea that there was an Ubermensch, a Superman, okay, this esoteric eugenicist idea, there was an idea of an actual physical superior human, and the mythologizing around that was, you know, this idea of Aryanism and the Aryan race. And Hitler was a proponent of the fact of like this idea, essentially, that the German people, the Aryan people, were the inheritors of this eugenicist legacy, and that they were fated to control and rule the world, right? I wonder if he's going to talk about honorary Aryans and claim that proves that Nazis weren't really racist. Foxbat, I think
Love
that's
to
exactly
all.
what he's going to do.
Heart, 2 hearts.
Socialist, thank you for the $10 super chat. Love to you as well. Thank you so much for supporting stream. So, yeah. I think that exactly is what is going to happen. Essentially, the idea being that Aryan was actually inclusive of more than just blonde hair and blue eyes, and that there were other types of Aryan, including the honorary Aryans. People who were just like, essentially you were given like you're an honorary real white person. That was essentially what that was. Oh god. All right.
And for the most part, people inevitably realize that the idea of Hitler wanting to kill those people without blue eyes and blonde hair is insane. So if that isn't true, what actually is the deal with the blonde hair and blue eyes thing in Nazi Germany? Why is it so frequently brought up? Were those without these features persecuted or treated differently? Let's find out. And obviously, quick disclaimer, this is obviously a rather controversial topic, so please use common sense. I will make no opinions of my own in this video, and this is purely a history video, nothing more. Firstly, some context.
Well, yeah, the Nazis gave the Japanese honorary Aryan status after they became allies because they viewed them as like a fellow ethno-state where, like, in their conception of the world, you know, you would have different areas controlled by different ethnic groups, right? But then they would all be lorded over by the Aryans.
The National Socialist movement, from its very inception, was incredibly racial. Adolf Hitler and many of the other most influential men of the NSDAP felt that the German people were taking the wrong path and were losing their racial purity. For example, in Mein Kampf, Adolf Hitler spoke of his time in Vienna, where he witnessed how dysfunctional the multinational state of Austria-Hungary was. In his view, cultures and peoples simply couldn't mesh like this, and that the German people...
And just in case you need it pointed out, that's a brain-dead way of looking at the world. Like, people from this area can't interact and be productive with people from another area because they'll fight each other for supremacy. Therefore, we must cordon off different groups of people into different areas, and that will solve all of our problems, you see.
Must forge their own path, alone. He wanted Germany and Austria to be united as one country, so that the Germans could forge their destiny together. Others, like Alfred Rosenberg, took a deeper dive into racial science.
This video is by Zoomer Historian.
And he especially was one that influenced Hitler greatly early on.
Yeah, again, like terms like poisoning the blood of the nation were being thrown around at this time. Because literally they viewed like you having a child with someone outside of your race, or, you know, with a lesser race, was diluting the power of the nation itself. Because again, this was eugenics applied on a national scale, on an ideological level. It was pretty bad.
Rosenberg argued that it was absolutely essential to preserve
yeah, no, this guy's absolutely a Nazi. We've gone over one of his other videos before. Yeah, like, to give you guys an idea of this guy's channel, he has 140,000 subscribers, by the way. Yeah, you might notice, do the British soldiers regret fighting? When the Nazis found God? Complete life of Hermann Göring? Complete history of the SS Tibet expedition? The Latvian Legion, why Hitler invaded the rest of Czechoslovakia. Like, it's a lot of apologia. I believe we covered the Kristallnacht video in the past. I think that video is up on my channel. We either covered that one or we covered the living space myth, the Lebensraum myth, which, you know, he goes pretty mask off in these videos, guys. Yeah, like, he's not subtle about it. How Hitler became president. Hitler's revolution. How Germany went from poverty to prosperity. Like, he's not subtle about it, guys. Yeah, no, this guy's channel absolutely should have been nuked ages ago. But, yeah, no.
The German race, and he felt that the races of the world existed almost in a tier system, with the Nordics, Aryans, or whatever other word you'd like to use, at the top. These
you know, Guy looked at the world and said, my race is superior to all of them. Wow, what a concept. I clearly come from the most pure racial stock. Everyone else should submit to me. Is really a take.
These people being the Scandinavians, the Germans, the Anglo-Saxons across the Anglosphere, as well as the Dutch and the Flemish. Many Germans were sympathetic to such ideas at the time, due to the conditions of the nation. With the new Weimar government came either the greatest freedoms the German nation had ever seen.
Yeah, you can kind of guess where he's going with this one. With the Weimar Republic, you either had the greatest freedoms the world had ever seen, or untold degeneracy that weakened the nation. Shows picture of, like, gays in Weimar, Germany.
Or a tidal wave of degeneracy, depending
there you go.
on how you view the world. Those with the latter opinion felt that the nation...
Also, just real quick, is that Magnus Hirschfeld right there? Is on the right? He's literally showing, like, trans and queer people would be like, oh, on the other hand, maybe the gays brought it on themselves. I feel pretty proud of recognizing him. He's just, you know, one thing I have to say, Magnus Hirschfeld, just absolute Chad of a man. Like, it doesn't get talked about enough, but, like, can I find a good picture of him here? Oh yeah, this is literally from I literally found I found the article. Trans medicine, 1919. Yeah. Cool. Neat. Found the picture. Not on purpose. I was just looking for a picture of Magnus Hirschfeld. Well, there's probably not a picture of him younger. Like 1919 would have been pretty on the nose for photography. Here. This is maybe this one will work. Dude just like huge mustache, kind of stocky, strong build, like dude projected strength, and that's pretty cool. I like that.
Depending on how you view the world.
Yeah, depending on how you view the world. Haha. Don't come to any conclusions about how I'm portraying the facts.
With the latter opinion, felt that the nation's new experiments with homosexuality, drugs, and even other things going on in Berlin at the time, such as transgenderism, were leading the German people astray. The word that the Germans had for people like these, who they felt were wasting their lives and simply being a drain on society, was Untermensch, literally underman in English, but better translated as subhuman. This title also applied to criminals and the like too.
Depending on your point of view. Haha.
As a reaction to such things, the NSDAP was by its very nature very racial, and they felt that Germans should fulfill their full potential and that the German people should be kept pure, both in terms of blood and in terms of living an admirable life. This worldview was expressed in propaganda and advertising in a way that isn't too dissimilar to today. In National Socialist propaganda posters, you will very often see people with a distinctly Germanic look. For example, when it comes to men, it is usually a strong, well-built man with sharp facial features, and then, of course, the point of this video, blonde hair and blue eyes. For women, it was much the same in terms of features, and they were displayed in an entirely non-sexualized manner, usually in a mothering role. If your task as a propagandist in the NSDAP is to show off the uniqueness of the German race to your people, and to try to explain to them why it's worth saving it, expanding it, and fulfilling its potential, then why such features were used needs almost no explanation. These are almost uniquely North European features, and if your point is
This is so fucking wild, dude. This is when you lose your dog whistle. You found a referee whistle. So true, as Katse. Like, of course they had to draw it this way. They were trying to make racial stereotypes. You don't understand. It was just good and right that they were racial stereotyping in this way because, you know, they believed they were the superior being. So obviously they wanted to highlight all of their superior features. Like, I don't know, dude. Like the fact that their women weren't sexy.
Is to display your race distinctly from others, then it makes total sense to use such features. To make a modern day comparison, you only need to turn on the TV or get an advert on social media. Maybe you even got one on this video as you clicked on it. In modern, Western society, whether you believe this is right or wrong, those in power are trying to create a diverse, accepting society. So to express their point, you will find an extremely disproportionate amount of racial minorities in advertising, or even government propaganda.
Well, no, in advertising you're seeing a diverse group of people because they want a diverse group of people buying their product. Like that's, you know, that helps to sell a product to more people. Like, it's also not propaganda to just include more people in like government communications. Like, that can just be government communications. Like if there's like a video that you have to watch to learn how to drive in like driver's ed that's put together by like your state or local government, and it has a black person in it, that's not the government necessarily trying to propagandize to you about including black people. Like, that's... We just live in a diverse society, man. I don't know what to tell you. We don't live in the ethno state that you desire, and you know what? Good. And fuck you.
When family products are advertised, you will usually see a mixed race couple, and the intent is to make people okay with such things.
Dude. Dude. Most people are already okay with mixed race couples, number one. Number two, that's actually not most of the time. You don't... Like, if your perception is that you see mixed race couples in media all the time, if that's your perception, because keep in mind, none of the claims that he's made in this video so far, especially as it relates to modern day, have been, like, backed up by any kind of data whatsoever. He's going by feels over reals, you know? And most of the time, you don't see mixed race couples in media. Most of the time, you don't. And you know how I know that?
Huh, my dogs are acting really agitated for some odd reason. Wonder what it could be.
Who can say, very knifey duck? Who can say? But what I have to say here is, like, I know that most couples on television aren't mixed race couples because it was even just like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years ago, like Cheerios put out an advertisement that had a mixed race couple in it, and it gained national media attention because people were being unspeakably racist about it. So I can guarantee you, if there were mixed race couples in media or even in minor advertisements all the time, racists wouldn't shut up about it and you'd know about it, all right? I've actually noticed that you almost never see mixed race couples on TV or in movies. Yep. It is rare, specifically because, like, when was Loving v. Virginia again? Loving v. Virginia was in 1967. And you know what Loving v. Virginia allowed you to do? It allowed you, in the United States, to legally marry someone who wasn't white if you were a white person, and vice versa. Literally, there are people alive today who were born in a time when you couldn't legally marry someone of a different race than you. So that's why you still don't see that many mixed race couples on TV, and that's why racists get incredibly weird about it when you see it on TV. Just in America. Yeah, obviously Loving v. Virginia didn't decide those rights in other countries. Oh, God. It's 5 months younger than I am. Jeez.
You will usually see a mixed race couple, and the intent is to make people okay with such things.
Again, most people in today's day and age are okay with such things. The only people who aren't okay with this are virulent racists. That's it. That's it. The only people who are like, mixed races, that's like putting orange juice in your toothpaste. Like, they're both stupid and racist.
When it comes to acceptance and personal freedom, a message is trying to be pushed where it's okay to be overweight or do anything you want really, as long as it doesn't affect other people.
Hot take. It is okay to be fat. Like, that's totally fine. Yeah. And I have to be honest, all those men out there, and it's generally predominantly men, though sometimes women, who try and like do the fat shaming thing because you think you're doing like some kind of social service. You're not. You're just being cruel and rude. Like, you're not helping anything or anyone. Like, the idea that you're doing some kind of societal good by trying to shame someone for their body features, that's weird. That's weird. And the next time you feel the impulse to do that, consider how everyone probably should be making fun of you for your weird-looking dick or genitalia. You know, like, I don't know, maybe think about different things people could mock about you, and think about how that might make you feel bad. And then understand that you engaging in that same behavior towards someone else probably wouldn't change their behavior, and really it would just try and make them feel bad because you're being an asshole. Just throwing that out there. Who gives a shit if someone is overweight? Unironically, there are like weird red pill folks out there who are like, who view it as like their public duty to shame fat women because they think fat women are going to infect other women into being fat, or like are going to turn the next generation fat. And really, from the red pill perspective, that means there are less women that they want to fuck. Except, I don't know if you guys know this. A lot of men really like fucking, like, chubby ladies. And a lot of ladies like fucking chubby men. That's just a fact. That's just a cold, hard truth for you guys. And, you're hot. If you're watching this, you are hot to somebody out there, okay? I promise you that. I promise you. Even if you feel like you are disgusting and nobody could possibly want, that's a lie. People want to fuck you. I promise. Okay? Promise. I promise you. Yeah, just don't be a shitty person and, you know, have good hygiene and carry yourself with some degree of confidence. There you go. Boom.
In order to push this message, there is usually a lot of very overweight people in advertising, often a combination of both.
Again, no, there's not. Like, it can seem like that if you're hanging out on Nazi forums and, like, you just see a bunch of compiled albums of, like, chubby people in advertising. But I got something to tell you. That's not the norm in modeling. That's not the norm in, like, fashion at all. Yeah, exactly, Mixed Vivian Wolf. Guarantee the proportion of overweight people in advertisements aren't even close to the proportion of overweight people in the country. 100%. Yeah. As a fat person, it's not okay to be fat. Calling a fat person fat is pointless, we know. Nobody without a fetish wants to fuck you. I disagree. Like, one, it is okay to be fat. Like, full stop. If you personally don't want to be fat, then, like, you can try and make the changes to not be that way. But being fat in of itself is a fine thing. Like, it's your life. You can live it the way you want to do it. There's nothing inherently wrong with being overweight. If you don't want to be that way, then that creates, like, a definite tension. It creates a definite, like, hey, you want to change, and it's really hard to change. And I understand and I sympathize with that, but there's nothing wrong with being fat. The same way there's nothing wrong with being left-handed, or there's nothing wrong with, like, you know, being short or being tall. Like, there's nothing wrong with any of those things. It's a morally neutral thing. Now, if it makes you feel bad, then of course, work on that. But you don't have to let it define you. And I also think that people are perfectly capable of, like, being attracted to overweight people and not be, like, fat fetishists. How long until Lizzo's mentioned? Oh god.
Messages are used, and the people used in advertising will be both a racial minority and overweight. The message is to say that you shouldn't judge others, and that we should want to live in a diverse world of peoples, all living together in harmony.
We should, though. And primarily, because the world's a lot more delicious that way, all right? It's so much better when you get to, like, meet people of all kinds of different backgrounds, eat all kinds of different delicious foods, see all kinds of different art, see, like, wonderful different types of architecture and, like, expression, and you get to share that with people, and you get to bounce new ideas and experience new things. That's cool! Rather than being saturated in just the one thing. Like, people throughout most of human history were locked down to, like, small pieces of land. And it was really difficult to go out there and meet different people from around the world. And we are lucky enough to live in a time when we can, like, go to a city and, like, you can just walk for a few blocks and, hey, guess what? You're suddenly immersed in a completely different culture that is alien to you. And you know what? That's cool. It is good that you can do that. And it's good to expand your horizons.
To almost everyone watching this video, the modern comparison should be extremely easy to understand, and if you even take a second to think about it, you can see the logic behind the propaganda. Understanding the National Socialists isn't much harder. In their view, the model German was a strong, blue-eyed and blonde-haired individual. The image may have been somewhat exaggerated, as is our own propaganda today.
Yeah, just somewhat exaggerated. just a little bit.
But this is how it works in every country. Those without blonde hair or blue eyes, or both, didn't feel marginalized in any way by this message, and the core principles of why people were displayed this way was completely understood. In everyday life, you weren't going to be treated differently based on how you looked. After all, every German isn't blonde-haired or blue-eyed. An example of perhaps where not having such features might be a disadvantage is the SS. The SS we know today was a
Oh god. Holy shit. Yeah, anyway, the one place it would have been a disadvantage would have been when it comes to, like, the racial purifying squadrons of the SS.
gigantic million-man strong organization, essentially the Reich's second army. But this wasn't the case in the beginning. The SS began life as Hitler's bodyguard and was an extremely small and selective group. Only a select few applicants would ever make it in. For example, you needed to be at least 5'9", which was above the average height for the time, and also conveniently happened to be Himmler, the leader of the SS's height. You needed to be physically fit, which is obviously normal for any army. However, here is where things are different for the SS. From 1935 onwards, you would need to prove—
Dude, the boner this guy has for the SS, by the way, is just absolutely colossal.
Your Aryan—
Oh wait, sorry, that implies that it would be big. I just mean, like, there's no hiding it.
genealogy, dating back to at least 1800 for enlisted men and 1750 for officer graduates. Nothing of this sort had ever been seen before in any army in the world, but in the SS, the point of the organization was that they would only accept the most pure and ideal looking Germans. Himmler himself used to boast of how he would examine the photograph.
Yeah, what was that about all of the degeneracy you were talking about earlier, and how, like, the Weimar Republic really had it coming because from a certain point of view it was just a tidal wave of degeneracy? But anyway, let me talk about this, this selective, racially pure squadron of soldiers, hand-picked and drooled over by Himmler himself.
Of every single prospective Waffen-SS officer to make sure they had the right level of, quote, Nordic features. Blonde hair and blue eyes were at the very top of this list. As well as the physical features, the mental came into play too. Quote, every pure-blooded German in good health can become a member. He must be of excellent character, have no criminal record, and be an ardent adherent to all National Socialist doctrines.
You know, unless he's Jewish, or gay, or trans, or disabled.
Members of the Hitler Youth will be given preference because their aptitudes and schooling are indicative that they have become acquainted with the ideology of the SS, end quote. When all was said and done, 85% of applicants did not make the cut, and that number was even higher in the SS Leibstandart Adolf Hitler, Hitler's personal SS bodyguard. In this case,
you aren't doing a really good job of dispelling the blue-eye blonde hair myth.
Even a single dental filling could get you rejected. When the Second World War began, and Himmler was permitted to recruit foreigners into the SS, he immediately got to work on recruiting so-called similarly related peoples into the SS. From here, the stereotypical blonde-haired, blue-eyed strongman propaganda went into overdrive.
Smokewalker, thanks for the tier 2 sub.
Posters were stuck up all over Scandinavia, the Netherlands, and Flanders, looking for fellow Aryans to join the cause.
Yeah, but, you know, there's no... The Nazi blue-eye blonde hair myth is a lie. It's a myth. You know, they were just looking for certain racial groups to add to the SS.
In the end, this was fairly effective, and the idea of the Germanic peoples fighting together against Bolshevism on the Eastern Front appealed directly to a certain kind of person in each of the occupied nations. Thousands of these people would end up dying on the Eastern Front, and many fought right till the end, fighting to defend Hitler in his bunker in the rubble of Berlin.
Well, most of them fought to the very end because they were in the SS and were, like, known for being the worst war criminals. And, like, if the SS were discovered anywhere, they were just wiped out. Like, they fought to the end because they knew if they were captured, like, the only thing waiting for them was either death or a lifetime in prison.
In 1945. The SS was certainly an exception, and it was only really here, where far more fanatical men about racial science like Heinrich Himmler had power, that you'd see such policies about things such as racial purity or your eye color. As for
dude, racial purity... You just finished showing us propaganda explicitly about enforcing racial purity among the Aryan peoples of Germany. You just finished showing us that. And now you're like, well, really, it was only really bad in the SS, where, you know, they really cared about your blonde hair and blue eyes. Yeah, but everyone else kinda cared, you know? And when the entire society kinda cares, that's really what perpetuates the myth.
For the incredibly strict bodyguard division, such a thing isn't uncommon in history. Gaddafi had his female bodyguard. The Pope has the Swiss Guard, where only single.
Oh yeah, man. These guys about to stop some assassination attempts. You know, look at them, ready at a moment's notice to unleash fury with their machine guns and hand grenades. Okay, counterpoint. While halberds might be cool, you know what'd be even cooler than a halberd? A machine gun bird. That'd be way cooler. Put some machine guns on the ends of these pikes, all right? Instantly makes them much cooler.
Single Catholic Swiss men
Try to kill the Pope and see. Look, I'm not gonna do that.
between 19 and 30 are accepted. The Byzantines had the Varangian Guard, who were primarily Scandinavians, and even the pretty liberal Napoleon.
Unpopular opinion, Mussolini did well by his people? What the fuck is wrong with you? Popular opinion, that gas station was better than he deserved.
Had incredibly strict rules to get into his Imperial Guard. Only today do such tough guidelines seem unfair or strange. But as for the blonde hair and blue eyes myth mentioned at the beginning, as you can see, it didn't exist. The simple truth of the
You're literally showing a picture of a blonde-haired, blue-eyed person.
matter is that you wouldn't be treated differently depending on your hair and eye color in the Third Reich. If you were to have blue eyes and blonde hair, then perhaps you were more suitable for propaganda, as you looked more like the so-called.
Yeah. Do you not understand how when you suit the archetype that is being propagandized to the general population, that might in turn, like, I don't know, come along with some kind of air of superiority and privilege? Do you not understand that part? Like, I don't know, I feel like children could make sense of that argument, but maybe we'll circle back around to that.
Ideal German in the eyes of men like Heinrich Himmler, but overall it meant very little. The idea that goes around history classrooms that Hitler planned or did kill people who weren't blue-eyed or blonde-haired is perhaps one of the most insane lies ever told. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if there is any other myths you'd like me to discuss.
God, you can even hear the air quotes. Amazing stuff. This one.
Well, I said it.
Anyway, let's check this out.
If I were black, they'd have killed me a long time ago. And if I were black and saying the things I say, I wouldn't be alive. Bullshit! No, you're not gonna say I'm sorry there's racism. No, I do not have to ask you nicely. I consider this exercise an injection of the live virus of racism. This exercise, the next time you say race to me, exercise is I watched my students become what I told them they were. I watched little, wonderful, brown-eyed white people become vicious, ugly, nasty, discriminating, domineering people in the space of 15 minutes. I watched brilliant, little, blue-eyed, white Christian children become timid and frightened and angry and unable to learn in the space of 15 minutes. If you do that with a whole group of people,
say a country of people,
for a lifetime, You change them psychologically. You convince those who are analogous to the brown-eyed people that they are superior, that they are perfect, that they have the right to rule.
Did you learn anything this morning?
I think I learned from the experience of feeling like I was in a glass cage and I was powerless. I realized this morning that there were very few times in my life that I've ever been discriminated against, very few.
And you convince those who take the place of the blue-eyed.
I also don't think you should do this with third graders. It was 1968, but she's since done this with, like, adults and similar results.
Students, that they are less than.
How did they feel yesterday? Down like a dog on a leash.
If you do that for a lifetime, what do you suppose that does to them? You find out that there are people of color who refuse to live down to our expectations of them. I am now watching, at the national level, that exercise that I did based on eye color being reenacted in the government of the United States of America. I've done this with people of all ages for the last 50 years. Now think about that. Next year it will be the 50th anniversary of the killing of Martin Luther King Jr. and the beginning of the blue-eyed, brown-eyed exercise. When are we going to learn? When are we going to put a stop to this?
White people's #1 freedom in the United States of America is the freedom to be totally ignorant about those who are other than white.
We live in the land of the free and the home of the brave. White people are the free, and people of color have to be brave. I want this situation to change. I want it to be such that no black person has to have courage to get up in the morning, any more than I, as a white person, have to have courage to get up in the morning. This is the most important book you or I or anybody else will ever read. I'm an educator. Every educator should refuse to perpetuate the myth of white superiority. There's only one race. It's the human race.
I'm really confused about which part. What's she trying to prove? Indoctrination works? Yes. Because unfortunately, a lot of people in America have never stopped to consider, like, their race or how they might feel about people of other races. The same way that, like, the guy who made that blonde hair, blue eye video that we just finished has never stopped to consider. He's like, oh, well, it's a myth. Well, it's a myth, but they portrayed the acceptable ideal German as blonde-haired and blue-eyed. When you portray that as, like, the epitome, the goal, it shows that other people are lesser than. Okay? It shows that if you are not that archetype, you are not the ideal German. And people will live up to those expectations. And you know what? When those people are not the ideal Germans, you know who they take out their frustrations on? The people who are less than ideal Germans, who are lesser than the group that finds themselves falling short of the ideal. Jewish people, the degenerates, the gays, the trans people, etc. And you see it also at play when it comes to race in America. This is one of the reasons why diversity has been included more and more in advertising and in, like, government, like, events, government practices. I thought she was about to go off about how white people are being oppressed by the affirmative action. No, she's not that. She's not that person. Her entire life has been dedicated to teaching white people to unlearn white supremacy. No mention of the psychological damage and abuse suffered by the kids in her experiment. Well, one, I haven't heard of the damage and abuse from that experiment. And two, it was 15 minutes or one classroom period. Now, if there was psychological damage done, I think maybe that's actually an opportunity to do some learning. Considering the purpose of the experiment is to teach people, not just children, but people of all ages, the psychological damage inflicted by white supremacy upon non-white children every day. The exercise is illegal to do in most red states in the US now. Well, I mean, it probably should. It's probably not ethical to do on third graders. But, like, I'd argue, like, middle school or high schoolers. I had a version of this experiment in 4th grade. It was 1000% traumatic at that age. In what way? Can you like tell us more about that? I agree, Mix Vivian Wolf. Morbius Dragon, thank you for the gifted membership. Okay, I was given no context as to what was going on. I was given a red ribbon on my wrist. I was one of the bad kids in class, normally because neurodivergent, but it was my favorite guest teacher, so I was sitting quietly and listening. The main teacher, not the guest, started yelling at me out of nowhere. I started crying. She screamed at me, stop, like inches from my face, then threw me out of class. When I didn't get what was going on, she chided me for not understanding the lesson of racism, which mission accomplished. Okay, well that sounds like extraordinarily shitty teaching. I'm really sorry that that happened to you. For what it's worth, I don't think that this is necessarily how Jane Elliott's lesson went when she first conceived of it. But that is extraordinarily abusive, yeah. Fat Mass, he literally makes videos about how Nazi propaganda was totally and completely validated. Yeah, like Q-Berry Shortcake, your example is reminding me of the story told by one of Tim Walls' ex-students, where allegedly they were doing lessons in their school to show how, in a similar vein, to show how, like, Jewish people could have been singled out for the Holocaust, and, like, trying to help kids who'd never met a Jewish person before in their lives understand how that could happen. But, like, it was done in an incredibly unregulated way. And allegedly, I haven't seen more confirmation about this, but allegedly Tim Walls stepped in to try and stop it. So yeah, the Stanford prison experiment is, like, woefully, like, flawed in a lot of ways. Like, what I think is a bit different about this one is that, like, Jane Elliott isn't a fucking researcher. Like, she was a school teacher, and, like, her kids after the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. were like, hey, how could someone shoot Martin Luther King Jr.? And, like, she was like, well, you guys want to, if you want to find out, you have to understand what it's like to be, like, a black person, and none of you are black. But they wanted to know more, and so she was like, well, okay, this is maybe one way we could do it. Now, I don't know if, like, how she pursued that, because, again, she's not a professional researcher. This was not, like, a clinical thing. All I know is that she went on to have a long career running similar, experiments in, like, workplace diversity training and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. At least to my knowledge, the first group of children walked away with a better understanding of that and not super traumatized by it. By flawed, you mean deliberately fraudulent? Yes. Jesus, can we not be pedantic assholes, like, all night? Can we not do that? Can we just not? Like, it'd be really nice to have like some measure of like good faith applied to what I'm saying. That'd be pleasant. Yeah, exactly, Kitsune Cavalier. The Yellow Star like Holocaust reenactment like really went sideways in that, which I can totally buy, being from Minnesota and like being familiar with, you know, northwestern schools in Minnesota. Yeah, A.V. Clark. It's difficult for a person of privilege to wrap their head around the idea that they are privileged. Yeah, because often privilege is invisible, you know? At least to the privileged. The Yellow Star. Yeah, there was a story, and I haven't, like, it's not verified, but there were accounts that when Tim Walsh was a teacher, there were social studies classes, not his, but other social studies classes that had a program of like saying, hey, you have to wear these yellow stars to underclassmen to help them understand the discrimination of Jews during the Holocaust in Nazi Germany. And it turned into upperclassmen acting as SS officers and bullying underclassmen who had the yellow stars. And then an actual Jewish kid came to school and was like, holy fuck, this is messed up. And allegedly Tim Walsh got involved to like help stop that. So yeah, there weren't any Jews to point out the problem. It's northwestern Minnesota, and here, let me pull up a map. Okay. Here is a map of Minnesota, just real quick. All right. So you see up here in northwestern Minnesota, there's a whole lot of cornfields and not a whole lot of other things. Okay? Just there's not a lot of people up here. You basically have Minneapolis and St. Paul down here. You have Duluth like right here. And then you have Fargo, which is like right up here. Maybe even like right here. I think it's further north. So in between you have small towns, but they're real small, guys. That's about it. So when you're talking about a small town in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota, it is very like most of the people there are Protestant Christians. That view like, you know, Catholics as exotic. Okay? Jewish people are just like that, people haven't seen them, you know? Apparently, we used to have a Holocaust course in my middle school that involved getting a number, kids having to eat gruel, and people disappearing. They canceled it. My history teacher was bitter. That's crazy. Jesus. To this day, I've still never met a Jewish person? Wait, that literally happened in my middle school, and yeah, there was only one Jewish family with 2 kids? That's crazy. Well, I know that there are Jewish people in my community, so you could Come in the Discord, say hi. Or come over to riverboat.gg and say hi. You know Jewish people now. Why the fuck do they keep botching these things? Well, honestly, it's because, like, setting up those power structures and then, like, not knowing what you're doing with them can go really, really wrong. Like, kids under good circumstances can be monsters. You know, just kids can be really mean. And if you then give them a structure to channel that meanness towards one another that permits it and tells them it's okay, they're gonna take advantage of that, you know? And like, if you're not supervising it correctly, it can get really out of hand really quickly. For a few years in school, I actually thought there were no Jews in Denmark with how they taught about it in school. Looking back, they did a pretty shit job. The first time I saw a synagogue, my eyes nearly popped out of my skull. That's crazy. I feel like today's been a weird show. Just weird vibes. I feel off. Chat's been in a mood. Chat's been fine. I think I'm the one in a mood. To that end, I think I'm gonna go to bed, and we're gonna re-roll tomorrow. We're gonna see if I can get back in the spirit of things tomorrow. Today's been weird, but it's been good, I think, and I hope you all enjoyed the show. Remember, hit the follow button on Twitch, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, like the goddamn YouTube stream, and consider dropping those subs and donos, because this show is only made possible by viewers like you. Like, you are the people who make this show work. Did I miss Peepo's Court? You did not. I am just in a not fun mood today, so we weren't doing it because I couldn't be a good show host for it. But maybe tomorrow. Yes, there was a critical vibes shortage. We're gonna raid you guys over into raid you over into Caroline Kwan. She's a good egg. Y'all be good. Y'all be respectful. All right? She's playing The Walking Dead season 2. It's a good video game. If you've never played it, you should probably check it out. It's good stuff. All right. See you tomorrow.